Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at an excerpt about this decades-long collaboration between composer Justin Rubin and percussionist Gene Kuczynski.
Right. It's a really fascinating origin story.
It really is. Like, our mission today is to figure out how a totally casual friendship turns into this massive creative legacy. You usually picture, cutthroat auditions and intense recital halls for high-stakes art.
Oh, absolutely.
But here, the foundation was just, well, long freezing winters at the University of Minnesota Duluth, eating family dinners and playing board games.
Yeah, playing board games, which, the text points out is actually a massive psychological mechanism at play.
Wait, board games, how does that translate to elite percussion?
Well, think about it. Elite percussion requires this split-second, totally nonverbal synchronization.
Right.
So when they were hanging out playing those low-stakes tabletop strategy games, they were actually mapping out each other's thought processes.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they were building up the profound intuitive trust that you need to execute highly complex polyrhythms later on.
So they're building this trust, but there still has to be a catalyst, right? To bridge the gap from a casual game night to a professional milestone.
Definitely.
It's like having an architect and a master builder who are best friends. They can share beers for years, but until someone hands them a blueprint, they're just two guys at a bar.
Exactly. And according to the text, Justin's wife, Erica, is the one who essentially handed them that blueprint.
Just casually suggested it.
Yeah, she just casually suggested that Justin write a piece specifically for Gene's graduate percussion ensemble.
That is wild.
And that single prompt birthed Hard Currency, which is this percussion sextet that became celebrated for its immense rhythmic drive.
Right, and that led to their 2012 album, Currents.
Which succeeded not just because of structural precision. Justin knew Gene's cognitive patterns from those games, so he could write these insanely intricate rhythms.
Because he knew Gene had the exact intuition to execute them. Okay, so that intense rhythmic synergy explains the early success. But I struggle a bit with the next part of the excerpt. Life happens, right? Gene moves across the country.
Right. He goes to build a top-tier percussion studio at the University of Delaware with Tim Brocious.
Yeah, so Gene now has access to the absolute best new talent on the East Coast.
He does.
Why wouldn't he just commission new local composers at that point? Like, why dig up a dusty 10-year-old manuscript from Duluth? Is it just nostalgia?
You would think so, but it's not nostalgia at all. It's actually about the physical mechanics of the composition.
The mechanics?
Yeah. So Gene uncovered Division of Labor, which is a percussion quartet Justin wrote a decade earlier that had never been performed.
Right.
And because Division of Labor was written with Gene's specific physical playing style in mind, along with their shared musical vocabulary, it wasn't just some outdated artifact.
Oh, so it was like custom-tailored architecture waiting for its original tenant.
Exactly. Gene intimately knew Justin's creative mind. That allowed him to see the immediate utility in a piece that others might have just overlooked entirely.
So instead of just leaving it unplayed in a drawer, Gene had his Delaware graduate percussion performers bring it to life.
Yes, and the text notes that Justin has now even secured funding to record this renewed collaboration so it's fully preserved.
Which is just incredible.
It is. Because they had that rock-solid foundation of a shared language from a decade prior, they didn't have to start from scratch.
So the distance didn't break the band up?
No, it just paused the conversation. When the environment was right at Delaware, they simply picked up that custom piece and resumed talking.
Wow. So beneath the institutional prestige, the recordings, the critical acclaim, this entire story really just boils down to two friends and a well-timed suggestion around a table.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I think it challenges you to look at your own circle. What collaborative potential is just hiding in plain sight during your own casual dinners or game nights?
That is such a great point.